Okay, we're recording now, and tonight we are going to keep talking about how our God is so big, but our bulletin board looks different. It doesn't have all the pictures on it that it had before. Listen with your ears.
No, what about the trees in the bus?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about first about a storybook. Does anybody get to, oops, I can't get that on my camera good. Anybody get to read storybooks sometimes? Are they fun to read? This is a storybook that my boys used to read when they were little. And it's and neat stories, and they're fun to read. But we know that they're just pretend, right? Because we know that cats don't really wear clothes. And we know that animals don't really play games and talk and do all the things that they do in stories, but it's fun to read them. But there's another book that I want to talk to you about that's different. And you might have one that looks like this, or you might have one that looks like this.
I do not.
These have pictures in them. Or you might, or actually your mom and dad might have some that just have lots of words, no pictures in them. But there's lots of really good stories in this book too. Does anybody know what this book is?
No.
No? How about this book? You know what this book is?
Yes.
What is it?
Bible.
It's
The Bible. Well, this is the Bible too. It's just more for grown-ups because it doesn't have all the pictures. It's just lots of words. So what is different about the stories and the things in the Bible than the stories in a book like this? Does anybody know what's different?
The Bible has stories about Jesus.
The Bible does have stories about Jesus. It has stories about lots of other things too, though. Are the stories in the Bible make-believe?
No.
No, the stories in the Bible
real.
really
They're
happen.
real.
They're real. That's right. Sometimes they're amazing and they're crazy stories sometimes, like a man that gets swallowed by a giant fish or a whale and he lives inside there for 3 days. Things like that that don't seem like they could be real, but they are. Because anytime we have a story from the Bible, we know that it's real, because whose words are these that are in the Bible? God's words. That's right. And God always tells the truth. He never tells a fib. So we can know that if it's a story in the Bible, that it really, really happened and it's really, really true. But tonight we're going to start talking about a story that happened at the very beginning of the Bible. It's in the very first book of the Bible, which is called Genesis. Okay, listen with your ears. It's called Genesis, and that means beginnings. And I want to tell you what the Bible tells us about what happened first. Long time ago, before any of us were born, and before our grandparents and our great-grandparents and great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were born, God created the heavens and the earth. That's what the first verse in the Bible says. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, we don't know how he did that. There was nothing. And then suddenly God just made it happen. And all the things that are in the universe, which is huge, huge, he just created it. And the earth was just a little bitty part of the universe. But the earth was not like we know it now. The earth was probably just like a rock, and it was cold and it was dark, and it was probably covered with water based on what the Bible tells us. But God knew that he wanted to make us. He knew that he wanted to have us who could learn and do and know him and love him. Okay, somebody's in the waiting room. Let me let them in. I almost forgot to notice. But Jace and Sadie are coming into the meeting. So, okay, so we're talking about God making the world. So God decided that he needed to make a place where people could live. We couldn't live on the earth if it was just a rock. and it was cold and it was dark and it was covered with water. So God got busy and decided to make it where we could live on it. And the Bible, in the Bible, the very first part of the Bible tells us about how he made the earth perfect for us to be able to live on. So the first day, and we're going to talk about days 1, 2, and 3 tonight. And the first day, God decided that it couldn't be dark. People could not live where it was dark all the time. And so God just spoke the words and he said, let there be light. And just like that, there was light. Now I have boxes to help us remember what's in each day. So this is box number 1. It says box number 1 on the top. And inside this box, there's something to help us remember what God created on the first day. Can anybody see what I've got right here?
A flashlight.
A flashlight. So what happens when you turn on a flashlight?
There's light coming
There's
from
light.
the
So if I turn on the flashlight, I get light. And if I turn it off, it goes away. So that's to help us think about how God made light. But now, did God have a flashlight?
No.
No, God didn't need a flashlight. He just said the words, let there be light. And there was light, just like that. But that's how that's one of the things that can help us remember. And so then the next day, on day number 2, God worked on the earth some more to make it perfect for people to be able to live on it. Remember, there weren't any people yet. So now we have light, but the earth was still covered with water. And so God did something amazing. He made something to separate the water. And it's something that's really important for us because without this, we definitely couldn't live. I'm going to see if you can tell me what it might be based on what I'm going to do with this thing that was in my deal. I've got a little Ziploc bag and I've got a straw. Now watch what I'm going to do. What's inside that bag now?
air.
Air. Well, guess what? Before the second day, there was no air on earth. And so we wouldn't have been able to breathe. And God decided that we needed air. And so he made air and he made it separate the water. And so he made the air go in and there was water still on the earth. You see my water in my little jar? And that would be like the seas or the oceans and the rivers and things like that. And then he made some of the air go up in the sky above, some of the water go up in the sky above the air. Can anybody see what's in there?
Clouds.
Clouds, that's right. So the air up in the water up in the sky, we've got clouds for it. What happens when we get lots and lots of clouds?
It rains.
It rains, that's right. And what is rain?
Water.
Water, that's right. So God put some of the water up in the sky and it's clouds. Some of the water was still down on the earth and that would be like the seas and the rivers and the oceans. And what was in between?
Air.
The air, that's right. Okay, so those are the things that are in our day number 2 box. And so God made air and the seas and the sky on the second day. And then you know what God said? He said, this is good. This is good. And so then the third day came and God made some more things. Remember, we've still got water all over the earth. Things can't grow when there's just water, right? So God made the water separate. And he made something this. I don't know if you can tell what's in my bag.
Sand.
Huh? I think I heard it. Land. He made land. This is like some sand and rocks and things. So he made the ground. He made the dry ground. He made the seas spread apart and he made the dry ground, which is good because we couldn't live if it was all water all the time, right? We can't just swim all the time. And then once he had dry ground, what do you think he made next?
Plants.
Plants, that's right. He made all kinds of plants. This is just a little vine thing that I have in my box. He made flowers and grass and trees and all kinds of plants. And he did something really cool, because what happens when the plants, when it gets to be wintertime, what happens to a lot of the plants? You know? Huh? They die, don't they? Like the trees, the leaves fall off of the trees and the flowers die back. But God had a way to make sure that the next spring, those leaves can, and those plants can grow again. So does anybody know, can you see what's in this bag? Can you see that? Seeds. God gave each plant seeds so that it could help, it could sow its own seeds, and the next year it could grow again, so that we get to keep on having plants. So that's the third day. God made the ground and the plants and the seeds so the plants could keep growing. Now that's a lot of things that we learned about tonight. And next week we'll learn about some more things that God made, but we just can't get them all done in one night. So we're going to learn a song in a few minutes that helps us remember which things God made on which days. In fact, it's how Miss Tanya remembers it. I learned this song when I was a little girl, and it's how I remember what things God made on which days. So if you learn songs, you can learn them forever. I want to talk to you about what's in your packet. Your worksheet has pictures of trees and grass and flowers, and it's a counting thing. So you'll be able to count how many of things are there and put in the numbers, and you can color that too. And then your craft, and I know some of you were getting ready for this already, was to go out in your yard and gather some leaves. So I went out in my yard, and that one's got a hole in it, but I got some leaves off of some of my trees. And what you'll do for your craft is you'll put those on the table and put a piece of paper on top of it. Are you listening? And then you take a crayon, and it works the best if you have a crayon that doesn't have any paper on it. So you can rub it on the side, and you just rub on top of that paper with the leaves underneath, and it'll make those leaves appear on your paper. Can y'all see my leaves?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. You can make them any color. I used orange and red and green, because this time of year the leaves start turning lots of colors, and that helps us remember about God making the plants on the third day. And then your snack tonight, I believe, is a little package of fruit snacks, and that just helps us think about all the things that God made. Some of the plants give us food. Some of the plants are just pretty, and we just like to look at them, but God made all those things for us. So, all righty. We have got a brand new Bible verse, and you will be working on this Bible verse in Peak also, but we'll start working on it tonight. I don't know if they did it in Peak this week or not. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know for sure. But it says, and we'll just learn part of it tonight, and then we'll keep working on it. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God. That means the heavens, the things in the sky, can tell us that God is big and real and powerful. And we talked about that a little bit already. So can you say that with me? The heavens declare.
The heavens declare
The glory of God.
The glory of God.
And the skies show.
and the
Sky show
His handiwork.
is handiwork.
And handiwork is something you did. So basically what that verse is telling us is that we can look up into the skies and we can see what God has done. And we learned about that already when we talked about our big, big God. So we're already ahead of the game on that one. All right, you guys listened really, really well tonight. I am going to go ahead and mute everybody because I want to teach you a song, and if we all try to sing while everybody is unmuted, it gets really crazy. So, but first we're going to sing our God is So Big song. So everybody get ready to do your motions. I'm going to back up a little bit, and I know you know this one. Ready? My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. The mountains are his, the valleys are his, the trees are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do for you. Good job. I could see some of y'all doing the motions. Couldn't hear you because I've got all the mutes turned on, but I could see you doing the motions. So this next song is a new song, and some of you may know it already. You may have learned it in your school classes, but it talks about what God made on the different days. And tonight we're just going to go through day 3 because that's what we talked about tonight. But we want to learn all of it before we're done. So you ready? Here you go. It says, day 1, God made light when there was none. Day 1, God made light when there was none. Day 2, God made skies and seas of blue. Day 2, God made skies and seas of blue. Excuse me. Day 3, God made grass and flowers and trees. Day 3, God made grass and flowers and trees. Okay, let's do it again. And I want to see if you can do it. If you can sing it, sing it. And if you can't, do the motions at least. And it'll help you learn that song. Ready? My throat's getting a little bit scratchy tonight. Day 1, God made light when there was none. Day 1, God made light when there was none. Day 2, God made skies and seas of blue. Day 2, God made skies and seas of blue. Day 3, God made grass and flowers and trees. Day 3, God made grass and flowers and trees. Good job. All right, I am gonna unmute everybody, or I'm gonna make it where you can unmute. I think you guys have to unmute yourselves though. If you can unmute, we are gonna say goodbye to all the boys and girls that might just be watching on the video.
Unmute.
I see some people getting unmuted. Good job, good job.
Bye-bye.
And then I'm gonna let everybody get unmuted, and then we'll count to 3 and we'll say goodbye to the people watching on the video. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Good job. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.